What's going on, everybody? It is Famine from Famine Studios on the Saturday evening. Um, gonna do some showing off of some pickups this week. Uh, kind of caught me off guard today. As I was getting ready, I learned about Matthew Perry's passing away. I am a huge fan of Friends and also Fallout New Vegas. Those my gamer friends who play Fallout New Vegas, which I always argue is the best Fallout. Um, Matthew Perry played Benny. And as you know, the game was rigged from the start, so gonna pour one out later for old Benny from Fallout. So that was a huge bummer. I didn't know him personally. It's weird for me when famous people die because you fall in love with their characters and their acting, and it's not particularly them. But this was a really sad one. Same with when Gunther passed away last year when he the actor who played Gunther on Friends when he had cancer and he was fighting it. He unfortunately passed. So sucks. But we're gonna not. I'm not gonna focus on being sad. I'm gonna focus on talking to you guys about some of the pickups I had this week. Had a really good visit to a flea market today. Scored big time. So I guess we can get started with that. I'm excited to show these things off to you guys. Let's see. No blurry background, and yes, Matthew Perry did pass away. He's 54 years old. They didn't say what he passed away from. Just passed away at home, possible drowning, but could be a number of things. He had I don't want to speculate, but he had a history with substance abuse. So who knows? Yeah, Chandler was the one that I related to the most out of the entire series. So I feel you there. But like I said, we're gonna go to positive things. Yeah. So, anyhow, pickups this week. We'll start with the stuff that I got in the mail, and then we'll go from there. So, in the mail this week, I got some acid rain hits from Aegis. Um, there are some helmets that I was looking for, a Benny head, or excuse me, a Bob head, not Benny head. Um, so you'll see those in future customs. He also sent me a bunch of Nuka-Cola bottles. Again, how apropos we were talking about Fallout, and there those are. And then he also sent me some other stuff, but that's for future customs. Those will come out in videos and people's YouTube channels and Instagrams. You'll see those. I'll be tagged. It's the whole thing. I got some figures in the mail from I believe it's Scorchy's figure store on Instagram. I know Bjorn has ordered from them before, and a couple of things I got are the naked 3POs from episode 1. It's an underrated figure. It's one of those that's 5 points of articulation, or 6 points of articulation or something like that, but it actually works for the character because it's a naked stick figure of a droid, and I thought those were really cool. Um, Another protocol droid. I had to replace the hand because it was missing a hand, but that's easy. I had a bin full of droid parts. I got a couple of pit droids for world building because you gotta have pit droids, and then a Tobias Beckett figure from Solo. It is a shame that we haven't gotten an articulated version of this figure, like something really nice, but it is what it is. I like the diversity in the head sculpt, the body, but we'll have that again for future customs. Bjorn says you're going to be partially working a con next month. That's awesome. I'm going to try and go tomorrow morning to Albany Comic Con. I'm only going to stay for like less than an hour. There's just a couple of friends I want to go see. Um, take a look at what toys they have, see if anybody's cosplaying anything cool. I have some friends who are going to be marching with the 501st, and while I'm not a 501st guy, I always try and support. So it'll be uh it'll be cool to poke my head in and see my friends. I have not been to a con since the pandemic, since the height of since the start of the pandemic, except for the toying around block party, but that's not a convention. Huh? Well, that just occurred to me. Um, so, oh, your boss has a booth next to Sergeant Slaughter. That's cool. I met Sarge twice both times at cons. That gentleman stays in gimmick the entire time. Be aware of that. You know, you go by, say hello, Sarge. He expects the salute. Ten hut. Um, but yeah, my best recommendations, Bjorn. I don't know if you've ever been a booth neighbor to anybody, but um, be kind. Offer anything they might need. Like if you guys get oh, your boss is that's dude, that's awesome. Hopefully your boss will be able to get you an autograph or at least a meet and handshake and everything. That's really freaking cool. But yeah, he was a nice guy, but he was in gimmick the whole time. So and not gimmick, but in gimmick and character. And for those asking about the not blurry, it's because I realized you can't see entirely much of what I've been working on there, and also the red lights with the blur, it kind of screwed with things. So this is how I'm doing it for now. So you're not getting a sneak peek in anything. But something else I also picked up this week is the uh, the Boba Fett deluxe version with the two Stormtrooper helmets. I got this off of Amazon. It was on sale for 16 or 17 bucks with same day delivery, which was absolutely wild to me. So, yeah, I had to pick it up. I just got him posed up right now. He will get used for customs and other things, I'm sure, but I thought it was neat to have the rocket packs and him like sliding in the scene and shooting uh, either his flamethrowers or some whistling darts. And helmets are going to be the helmets are going to be like spares for all these stormtroopers that I've been building. And also, I'm going to keep those free of red. This way, if I decide to just do some like ACBA shots or something like that, or just do some toy photography of troopers that aren't gimmick troopers, I'll keep the paint off of them and just have extra heads that I can swap out. So fun there. So, what else did I get this week? I did pick up at Walmart on Sunday, which I think you guys already saw, which was Cad Bane, the Tuscan Boba, couple of knee nubs. So I think we did that on one of the shows. So I won't bust those guys out, but what I will show you that I also got in the mail today is wow, did you guys see that on camera? The Empire Han Solo. I actually picked him up for the welding accessories and the extra body, but it's a Han figure. I mean, how many figures of Han do we have in our collections? And I gotta ask, I don't know what it is about Walmart, Amazon. Damn near every Star Wars carded figure that I get from them has like no adhesive on the card backs. I don't know if you guys can remember some of my older videos where I got Andor and also the snow troopers from Solo, or not snow troopers, but the train troopers with the magnets and the boots. Um, all their cards just there was no adhesive at all. Like there was no like this. There's some adhesive on there. You can see where it pulls off, but like look at that. Like that's as if you pulled that off the printer. So I don't know, but a lot of those are that I get from Amazon. I don't know what it is or why they're like that. So I'll just go ahead and do that. And if anybody has any insight, please feel free because that's super weird to me, right? Like it's strictly Amazon stuff that happens with, and it's like really weird. All right, all right. So what else do I got over here? All right, I put it in a bag. Um, I also got some Loctite super glue on recommendation of somebody with gel control, so I'll be giving that a try in some future videos. Do you guys want to see high humidity? That's a valid point. I was excited for the pipeline reveals. Real quick before I start unbagging slash showing things, do you guys want to see the vehicles first, or do you want to see what's in the bag? Um, while we ponder that, what you guys want to see, For the TVC pipeline reveals, I'm always excited for more figures. I am excited for that new articulated clone with removable helmet. I think that's going to be one of my big army builders. I am really excited for those. Uh, I wish that they were doing something similar to the 2 packs that they've revealed for Black Series, but I get it. I I would have liked a 3 3/4 inch Anakin with that level of articulation, but I'm sure down the line it'll come. Enoch with the night troopers, I'll be sure to pick up a couple of those packs just because like those troopers are badass, and I'm sure I can fit them into world building somehow. Um, but it was an exciting morning, um, just for figures in general. Because again, like yesterday, I found a 1027 event. I felt like we were kind of cheated. We got another Andor with a rescan of the face. Like, unfortunately, that Andor figure sat. Maybe it'll do better because it looks more like the actor, and also it's that real photoreal technology. It seems to be a PulseCon or not PulseCon, but like a Pulse exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. So perhaps that will benefit the sales of that figure, and it won't peg warm. But neither here nor there. How about you guys? Are you looking forward to some of that stuff? I know Bjorn, you had some feelings about that you put in your story. If you want to share with everybody, I don't mind. Let's see here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's the kind of sand that is in the surrounding areas of Gimmick where the atmosphere is not so super great. Um, it's it's a rough environment around Gimmick, and I lean closer to the shows that I loved that inspired me instead of leaning towards the world makers, which was something I was doing, is leaning towards what other world makers are doing, which is why a lot of changes are happening around Gimmick. But I very much was inspired by Blade Runner 2049, the first Blade Runner, as well. Also, Firefly, which is my favorite. So some changes there, but I just love this desert, this arid desert look, and so that's where that came from. Bjorn says the Rebels pipeline figures were great too. Yeah, they were. Kanan is going to be a great figure. Always cool to get a Jedi Knight. Chopper, he's going to be great for customs. There's going to be, yeah, Arizona's dry and red. I have some friends that live there, and then when they show me the pictures, it's like it's beautiful, but at the same time, I don't know that I could be around that much red. I'm from upstate New York. There's so much green, except in the winter and spring and fall when it's fucking white and gray and miserable. I'm sorry. I'm bitter. It's going to snow on Tuesday on Halloween. It was 80 degrees yesterday. It was almost 80 degrees today. Nothing makes sense anymore. This planet is on fire. I don't I don't get it. But yeah, all right. So I saw a couple of votes for vehicles, so I guess we'll go with the vehicles. So I'm not a Star Trek guy, but I saw this neat ship. It is a Starbird, I guess. I think this is Star Trek. I'm sorry if I'm being sacrilegious. I just don't care. Um, but this was buried under some stuff at a flea market. There we go. It was buried under some stuff at the flea market, and I asked the guy how much he wanted for it. He first hit me with 20, and I said, think he'd come down on that. And he's like, "Oh, it's in good working order." And he was trying to get it to work and was just struggling. And I was like, "Listen," I said, "I'll do $10 for it. It was buried down there. You didn't have a price tag on it." And he's like, "All right, I'll do $10." So I've got this. I don't know what it's supposed to do. I think this is supposed to maybe come off. Okay, yeah, there we go. So that's like a little shuttle that detaches. I don't know anything about this. Is this from Star Trek? If somebody could to load. Don't put batteries in it to load. You're gonna have to rephrase that. I don't. 70s era generic sci-fi, not Star Trek. Oh, okay, cool, perfect. And that just came off. So I don't think it's in as great a shape as this guy thinks it was. Um, but I could certainly see popping this piece out just like that and dropping it on the floor. But popping that out and putting a droid in there. What's up, Timbo? Um, so yeah, so I've got a starship. You can hear my cat Azrael. She says hello. Snowflake is taking a nap right over there. Mama Snow's wandering around, probably gonna go yell at Azrael. But yeah, I guess there was also maybe some pieces that were here. Load for sound. It won't shut. Okay, loud. Oh, it's too loud. I got you. Got you. Got you. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, it looks like maybe there were some pieces that sat here. But I figured this can either be its own ship, or I might cut it down. Maybe take that middle section out, bring it in closer. Um, but it looks like there is an on and off switch. I don't know what that's about. It's gonna get cleaned for damn sure. Um, Slightly yellowed, but I don't know. I thought it was neat for $10. So this is the pretty cool part about all this is I got the ship. Please keep in mind, got the ship for $10. Then there was a Batman tumbler. Um, and I had been seeing how STC Forge he paints his, and he had said that he always picks his up for like $5 or $10. And I know Josh Wentzilla had picked one up from him that he got painted. I don't know if he's gotten his yet. I'll have to bully him to see pictures, but the guy at that booth had it for $25, and I was like, I'm not paying that. On my way out, I passed another booth. This person had this and a couple other figures, and they said, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, how much you want for this?" And they were like, how's $20 sound?" And I was like, sounds like $10 to me. The lady was like, "You know what? You can have it for $10." So I got a tumbler. That's gonna be great. Um, this is my favorite Batmobile, by the way. Just in case anybody was like, "Famine, what's your favorite Batmobile?" This bitch right here. This thing was great. Love this thing. So that'll get some work done to it. All right. So those were the vehicles. So now I've got this bag here full of figures. Now the rest of it, again, I spent $30 today at that flea market. So the rest of this stuff all came in together for around $10. So let's see here. I'll start with the broken stuff that I just picked up for pieces. I picked up this Clone Wars Super Battle Droid. It is goofy looking as all hell. It is, you know, chunky, and I don't know that I'll use it as a battle droid, but I'll probably, snare the limbs, use the limbs for something. But I thought it was funny and neat. So I was like, you know what, for $1, I'll scoop that up. It's like that's such a goofy, clunky figure. And then we got the other broken figure that I picked up, or missing pieces, was Killmonger, Killmonger, Ironmonger from Iron Man 1. The guy behind the counter had no idea what it was. He was like, "Oh, I don't know what that is. It's supposed to be a transformer or something." And I was like, "Actually, it's from Iron Man." I gave him the whole spiel. And Obadiah here is about 3 3/4 inch scale, right? That's damn close in scale. So I think I'll chop that head off, maybe put a trooper in here, maybe make this into like an Imperial stormtrooper loader droid, or maybe it'll be a space trooper or something. I don't know. I'm sure down the line you guys will see a custom video, but it's only missing that top part. I remember when it had the top part. I think somebody bought it or stole it because I've been to that flea market a few times. But he came down in the price for that for me. So since there's missing pieces, and then speaking of missing pieces, I saw this Triceratops, and it was displayed like this, and I thought to myself, that's not a Jurassic Triceratops. That is like a knockoff from China, which lo and behold it was. But here's the cool, well, not cool for him. Cool part is it was missing a limb. I've been wanting to do some robotic limbs on some dinosaurs, like some prosthetics. Guy gave it to me for free. He was like, you can have it, and I was like, cool. So that, and you can also tell it's a knockoff bootleg because it's got the built-in dino damage, but it was like molded in the green plastic and then painted the pattern over it. So I think this is a knockoff of a Jurassic Park 3 back when Hasbro had the license Triceratops. I no longer have any of those figures. The JP3 stuff. I take that back. I have one, but it's a Velociraptor and not this. All right, I have two. They're both Velociraptors. It's not this. Yeah, free 99.95 is my favorite price, but it's got a broken limb, missing limb, so I get to make a prosthetic for that. So that'll be a cool upcoming video. Also for the flavor of free, he gave me a Jawa that he had marked for $10. I was like, "There's brother, there ain't no way I'll pay $10 for Jawa." And he's like, "Oh, you can have that little fella." I was like, "Great, cool." So I have a little Jawa, which I do not have around Gimmick. There are no Jawas on Gimmick. I don't know if anybody ever noticed that. It was not exclusionary. Um, I won Sky Bottom's giveaway for the Jawa Village, and unfortunately, it never came. Uh, Never sent it over. Whatever, he needed some more time to work on it, and just never got it. I have seen the Primal Clash stuff. I did see the new Primal Clash stuff that's coming out, and I want the Dimetrodon. It's a great figure to make rideable because they were designed to have those saddles and stuff. I will be picking some of those up. I picked up this Gamorrean who's missing a hand. That was $1. I figured, why not, right? I can always use the head for something, and I can use the body as like a statue or put it in my parts bin. But yeah, he's missing a hand. I don't know what it is about these vintage toys that people like chew on them or let their dogs have it or shit like that. Like, why? Why? So on top of that, the last couple of figures that I got from the flea market, just get rid of that plastic there. So I got a Django Fett, that quick draw action one. I don't know why I'm showing it to you in the bag. Can you tell it's been a night, guys? Can you tell? But it does have the removable helmet. It's got Tem's face in there. The really bad 5 o'clock shadow. I remember that when I had this toy as a kid. I had like 6 of these because you could get them in the 4-packs at KB Toys that had the 4 different figures for like $9.99. And it's got the little blaster, like there was a hook on for flamethrower or something, or his grappling hook. Came with one of his guns that can go into his thigh holster, but I mainly got him for the armor parts because the pre-posed, like, I don't know, that's supposed to be him shooting his gunfight pose, but the paint's really good on those, so I'll be keeping his torso, probably dremeling off his belt, stealing some bits and pieces from here and there for him. But yeah, Django Fett from episode 2. And then I got this guy. I gotta be honest with you, I have no idea who the fuck he is. But he had a really nice body, really nice articulation on the arms. The guy only had him in a package for $1. I feel like he's probably worth more, or $2, I believe. But this dude with his red fancy helmet, and then face sculpt that I had never seen. And then if you remove his robes, he's got Imperial insignia on his arms and on his back. And I just thought, what a badass. So for the low price of, I think, $1, I scooped him right up. And he's got a holster, so it looks like he's missing a blaster. But for that price and with the kick-ass helmet, like, how am I not going to get this? I don't think it's first order. I think this is comics. Trying to think. It has been ages since I knew my Imperial Guard lore. I don't think it's who I think it is, though, but maybe it is first order. I don't know. But that's a really articulated figure for what they produced for the sequel, so I don't know. Could be a first order guard. But yeah, that was my pickups from the flea market and from Amazon today. It was a good day, and then I had maybe I didn't show you guys. Did I show you guys the other stuff that I picked up. I got this complete Independence Day alien attack ship. This was in the box. This was this was in the box, still in the package. Um, Missiles, bombs, alien is inside. So let's bust that out. He's piloting the ship. He's not. There's no dry rot on him. Um, okay, so it's one of Snoke's elite guard. All right. Well, that's a great figure, and they didn't need to go all the way out and give him a removable helmet and everything. So I'm happy about that. But this was in there. The cool part about this, the coolest part, and I actually went ahead and put it over in here, is what was in the box. The gentleman I was talking to, I should say, at the store said, I've had that since like 1997 or 1998 when it came out. I opened up the box. If you can see this, that is the original receipt. That is a very old Toys R Us receipt from 1996 at 12.15. He purchased this thing at $14.99 at 7.25% sales tax back when New York had 7% tax. That is a real Toys R Us old receipt, and I was like, I gotta keep that. Even you know what I mean? It's like a little corny thing, but I stuck it in my I keep a notebook. I keep a few notebooks. I like to write stuff down, draw. When I was writing my book, actually, this was the notebook that I started drawing maps. And let's see here, a little spoiler for you for my novel. There's the home. There's the home of the main character and his yard and garage. So when that novel comes out, there will be a better drawing of that in there in the front of the book so that you can picture in there. I'm a big fan of pictures and maps and books. As a younger reader and even as an adult, I get really nostalgic for opening a book and having some type of visual inside the pages beyond what's on the cover and on the back. My two favorite Michael Crichton novels, Jurassic Park and The Lost World, they both feature maps on the inside, and I'm certainly inspired by that. But yeah, that receipt was so fucking cool. Like, how cool is that? That is a receipt from a Toys R Us with the toy that I purchased. So I got that. What else? We got our lovely. This was a Walmart pickup. TVC Cad Bane. He is the shit. I love this figure. If I can get more of these, if they aren't super sparse to come by, I will pick them up, if only for the coat and body, to make some characters. Love this. Love the removable hat. I do prefer. I'm gonna be blasphemous right now. I'm probably gonna get beat up and screamed at. I prefer the live action look of Cad Bane better than I do the animated look. I just think that that's more serious business. He looks more mean. The Duros is dope. The hands are more realistic. Great figure. Really, really posable. Just a really great figure. I do recommend. And these were pickups at Walmart. I got two of our beloved Return of the Jedi pilots. Now, I don't know how well the camera is going to pick up, but this boy here has way more wash on him than this one does. It looks like they skipped him and put wash all over this guy's face in the factory. But great little bodies, great little vests on him. It's going to be great custom fodder, and I picked those up on a whim at Walmart, which never happens. I never come across anything there. And then to add to my ever-growing collection of boba, the Fett Man was the Tusken Fett, and I'm going to be army building this because this is like a great space ninja body. Like, it's a gangster body. He's got that tough guy build, the warrior pose. Like, I just like this a lot. So I picked that up from Walmart as well. I never get lucky and get things at retail like that. Like, every once in a while I'll come across, I say I don't get lucky. I get plenty lucky. I'm not going to sell myself short. I come across things at retail here or there, but that was one of those things where it was like, yeah, you know, I just picked up one, two, three, four, five figures at retail for the retail price. That's, can you guys hear my cat yelling? Come on in here, Miss Azrael. Nope, she doesn't want to come in here. She just wants to stand out there and yell. So I also at that other store, I also got the 3-pack of from Amazon, and I got it for $15. $15. $15. The 3-pack. New in package. Um, I was making him dance. That's why he's got like the funny thriller moves here. Um, but I love that there's an option for articulated K2s out there. I just wish there were more available at retail. That's me though, especially since they're doing they talk about Operation Cinder in Book of Boba Fett. They talk about the Siege on Mandalore in the Mandalorian. Excuse me, in the Mandalorian, not Book of Boba Fett. But great option there for them to release these. This guy, if anybody has any of these scout troopers and does not want the shield or just doesn't want the whole figure, get at me over on Instagram. We might be able to work something out. I need more of these shields. I love them. I think that this is fantastic. Yeah, like really cool. And for $15, I got this whole 3-pack. And then I took that weird ungodly cape off of this guy. But again, another droid, uh, a Magna Guard, like great figure. We're getting the HKs that are coming out. I love shit like that. I love droids, but for $15, the 3-pack sealed, new, $5 a figure. I went home, pulled it up on Amazon because I was like, damn, maybe I'll pick up a couple more of these if they're that cheap. Well, they were still about regular price. I think 35 or 40 on Amazon. So I got that for a steal and a half. Tremendous, great pickup. Super excited about that. Um, Anthony, this was a store I had never been to, called Weirdo Comics in Scotia, New York. I had never been there. I saw their ad on Facebook, and I happened to see that Independence Day ship in the picture. That's what drew me there, and I told the guy that. And I also I picked up a couple of Predator figures. The high-up Predator figures, they're all open in there, but I needed some stuff for customs, so he had those on clearance for $7 a pop. So I got 3 of those. Great deals. And with tomorrow's Albany Comic Con, I am also gonna do my best to pick up some cheap figures. I will be filming that. It's a tradition for me to vlog my Comic Cons, and also now with the toy hunting, I like to vlog that. And what'll be cool is if you go back in my library, if you're like, man, what was Famine doing before the Panini happened? I think my last Comic Con video was like me joking around, like, is the trying the clickbait thing because I was trying to do vlogging, and I was like, is this my last Comic Con? Turns out, turns out it was my last Comic Con, because the global fucking pandemic that came through and killed millions of people. Um, it 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 so it was my last con, and I have no real attachment anymore to the Comic Con scene. I don't cosplay for the sake of cosplaying anymore. If my friends ask me to cosplay in an event or something, we absolutely work something out. I go. Bjorn, I will absolutely look for something while I'm there, and I don't mind dressing up for myself. But just I used to be such a serious cosplayer. I had to have something new, had to debut things, and it wasn't a healthy view on the hobby for me. So it's cool that I'm not. And I mean, since it's late night, since we're moving on to a whole new day, I could show you one thing that I did get. This is a kit and it is for my Phase 1 Clone Trooper helmet. This is Phase 1 Troopers are my favorite clone troopers, if anybody is curious. But this is from atlas.co. I will not be linking him. You can look him up on Instagram. Atlas makes phenomenal work. I am not taking that away from Atlas. However, Atlas needs to work on time management, which is something I've said. I ordered this 2 years ago. I watched countless other projects get funded and out the door that were way more complex than this over the course of 2 years, over and over and over again. He delivered the item that I purchased, which is great, but I'm not going to give him the advertisement to draw traffic. If you want to go over there and you're comfortable waiting that long, feel free. Again, atlas.co, but I'm not going to provide a link in the description. You're going to have to do the legwork yourself because I don't want to send people over there for that. But I will say, trimmed helmet, very nice job. The mold, this is all sculpted. This isn't 3D printed and then sanded over or anything like that. He hand sculpted this. Does a great job. Came with the lens, which gets trimmed and fits in there. And it did come with the greeblies, the red for the light for the back of the fin. But this will be customized by me. I'll probably make a video of it because I still want to have prop work and stuff on this channel because so many of these skills that I've learned for toy making has come from cosplay and it does translate back and forth. So if you guys pick up maybe one of the Black Series ones or something like that and you want to learn, there will be a video for that. But so there's that there. I thought you guys might appreciate that. Oh, and the other thing that I picked up at Weirdo Comics, which is one of the things I'll be looking to complete tomorrow, is issues 2 and 4 of the Jurassic Comics. I'm going to try and pick up the other Jurassic Park movie run comics and probably get them like in a wall mount or something and have a nice piece of artwork out of it. And what's cool is I was going through these and like there's advertisements for Pogs in there. I was a huge fan of Pogs back in the day. I remember the glory days of going to like stores at the mall and they literally had bathtubs of Pogs that you could go and like sort through and pick out and fill a tube, and the tube was like $6.99 and just or 5-10 cent Pogs. Those were the days. Yeah, Bjorn, absolutely send it over to me on Instagram. I'll take a look. They have a lot of toy vendors and a lot of they have a lot of toy vendors and a lot of comic vendors. So it is a Comic-Con. They used to do a toy show. It doesn't look like they're doing the toy show anymore since they moved to this new location. So it seems like they just do the 2 Comic-Cons instead of doing the Comic-Cons and then the toy show. But it's local. And then the following weekend, I have the advertisement right here. There's a toy and comic show on the 5th of November over in Lake George, New York. I don't know that I'm going to get to go to that, but $5 admission, and it's I guess it's in a Holiday Inn, which usually they have big sections for people to look stuff up or dig through things. And I also think that's the same weekend as Rhode Island Comic Con. So I don't know that I'll be at this, but anybody who's looking for toys and is in my area that might come across this video, November 5th, Toy and Comic Show, check it out. That's your free plug, Greater Adirondack Comic Con. So those were my pickups this week. I'm super excited about those, especially the Triceratops. And it's weird because like it was free, right? So this should just be like, oh, that's a free thing. Thank you, Timbo. But I've got so many ideas for this leg. Probably for the head. I think I might close the mouth. I don't know if that was always weird to me as a kid. Like all the dinosaurs were like screaming or like in some sort of like weird contorted pose. But yeah, I'm excited for this guy, and I think I know how I'm going to do the leg. So that's really cool. Nice, Timbo. I used to collect more comics than I do today. Now I'm very much more a trade paperback guy if I want something, and I'm still a physical media person, so I don't tend to read the the digital comics and stuff unless I've like maybe already purchased it and it comes with a digital copy and I'm just lazy. Um, Gonna keep that up there on the screen for a few minutes. This is homework for all of you. Check out Firefly, watch Serenity. Great series if you haven't already. It's my favorite television science fiction, more than The Expanse, more than you know Cleopatra 2525. I love Firefly, and I'm every time I go live, and if you meet me in person, chances are I will be wearing this wonderful bracelet that was a gift from my friend Jess. Shout out to you, Jess, if you're watching. I know you're having a busy weekend, but it says "You can't take the sky from me," which is part of the opening theme song of the show, and that's something that I keep as a cherished item, and I wear it on me all the time. And that aim to misbehave will actually be my Firefly tattoo. Um, and I cosplay Jane Cobb. Um, I have to specify that I cosplay Jane Cobb. The actor Adam Baldwin's a huge piece of shit, um, which happens. Joss Whedon turned out to be a huge piece of shit. It's really the one piece of artwork that I struggle to separate the art and the artist for. I don't want to get terribly into it because it's offensive to some. I personally was affected by his shitty behavior. A friend of mine had. I don't want anything to get demonetized or anybody's algorithm to get messed up. So she had threats of SA launched against her by followers of Mr. Baldwin, and it's been very public. It's been covered by national news. If you really want to dig into it, I'm sure we can have a discussion, but that's going to be a not on the live stream stuff because I don't want to upset anybody that may have faced that. But I cosplayed Jane for years. He was my favorite character from the series because he was that big oafish guy. Loves his family. He was recently, I guess I can say spoilers for a novel slash comic, um, over 15 years after the series came out. But they finally wrote his character off in a way that I feel is a good send off for Jane and a good way to introduce some other characters to the series. So if you do like the show and you get into the books and comics, this is down the road. But yeah, he's finally gone. But you guys have probably seen some of the pictures that I've done cosplaying as Jane. I love that hat. My grandmother knit Jane's hat for me. She knit me two versions. She knit me one that was lightweight for cosplay, and a second one that was double knit out of a little bit of a darker, heavier wool for winter camping. And I go winter camping, well, used to, almost every year until the panini happened. And then that's kind of stopped, and we've gotten older and soft. So when we do get together in the winters, it's indoors, but I still have my hat. Um, I love that hat. And also, as you can see, well, you will be able to see in Gimmick, and you've seen in other photos, I've had Blue Sun posters and things like that. My homage to the Blue Sun Corporation, which is in Firefly. They're the mega corporation, like the Coca-Cola slash Apple of the verse. When China and the United States and Russia all went up to outer space for the space race. So love the Blue Sun. I have Blue Sun shirts, patches. I thought about throwing the Blue Sun patch on here, and then I was like, nah. And then I had my Wayland patch, and I was like, no. But I am going to make a hat band, completely untoy related. But I feel like we're friends here. There's quite the regulars here, so we can chat. I obviously am a collector. I do a lot of traveling and making and DIY things. I love wasteland stuff. I love pirates. I love all that shit. I collect little trinkets and oddities, weird beads, pieces of bone, um, that type of shit. And I realized I can make my own hat band and like weave pieces of those things in there that are part of my story and also make the hat look a little more interesting. Um, but yeah, collecting collections. Yeah, I used to collect a lot more. And I think back then when I was doing that, that was a case of collecting for the sake of having something to collect. Now I collect because it truly brings me joy. It's not just something to fill time or fill any voids. Um, no, I don't do the SCA stuff. I have some friends who are big into the SCA. They go, "Hey Timbo, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you, man. You be well and enjoy your day. We'll hopefully catch you on another live or catch you over on Instagram. Be well, my friend." I have some friends that do SCA. Uh, I I am a prepper. Um, I used to teach prepping courses. No worries, no worries. I used to teach prepping courses for a group out of St. Louis called Zombie Squad. Um, I was a member from super beginning. We had our own New York chapter, but I've learned all my skills of like making and things like that, of like materials and sewing and knot work and all that shit. Bjorn, I am going to be having guests. That's going to be something I'll probably save for Tuesdays. Um, as you guys can see, and you were here earlier for the test, I'm figuring this stuff out. I don't want to compete with our friends. Obviously, I'm on a show on Friday, so unless I do like a pop up random live early in the day, like 5 o'clock on Friday or something, happy hour, I don't want to compete on Fridays. I don't want to compete with Dom Thursdays. So it'll likely be on Tuesdays, and I will probably have a guest like once or twice a month. I certainly do want to have some people on here. I know Dom is one of those people. I think I spoke with Jason. I did reach out to Chris Shaler from Empire, a couple of guys from the multi-galactic trade route. Although I think there's like an embargo on me, possibly people not appearing. I don't know. Um, and some of the guys who have been on the World Makers Consortium, obviously, I want to have a more pointed conversation about customs and making and things like that. So I will certainly be having guests. Um, but I will, if you're interested. Okay, I was going to say, if you're interested, I'd love to get you on too, since you've been a huge supporter of everybody in the community. So it'll be great to have you on and chop it up with you. But yeah, as I was saying for Zombie Squad, so we used to do um, film festivals where it would be zombie movies, and then we'd give the spiel about like, you prepared for zombie apocalypse, you're prepared for anything, which is true. You could weather a hurricane, weather a tornado, weather an earthquake. A lot of California friends, their earthquake preps are having go bags, things like that. I don't want to get super into it, but I learned a lot, like tying knots and making paracord things, and all that. And you know actually picked up paracord. I picked up some paracord for power cables for some things that I've been working on today, and I was like, I have a spool of green paracord in a container out in the. There you go. Oilers is a Oilers is a great show on Sundays. I try and tune in every chance I get. Even though he makes 1/6 stuff and 112, he does. Although he did the big desert setup, did a really good job on that. Uh, but yeah, um, 550 cord, great for keeping in your car for things, and also for world building. Hmm, consider that. But yeah, I picked up black today for power cords. This was $5 at the truck stop. We stopped to get gas and couple of things, and they had some clearance sales on some weird shit. So I was like, oh, 550 cord, I can use that for power cables. Um, yeah, Bjorn, you might recognize me from that. I did a lot for and with them. I've made some very, very good lifelong friends from Zombie Squad. I may or may not have a Zombie Squad tattoo in rotation, but it will always be something that's a cherished part of my life, and those were some of the best years of hanging with friends, and I still hang with those friends today. Even though Zombie Squad is now no longer a 501c, it's been oh, okay, there you go. Well, I appeared on, we gave talks and we were online and things like that, so who knows? But made some great friends. We used to do um, film festivals. I miss those film festivals so much. We put on zombie prom, zombie walks. I used to wear body armor, uh, and like go fully out. We'd have tactical gear. We'd help lead the parade. There'd be 500 zombie actors. Uh, it was, oh, thank you, Dystopian. Thank you for liking the video. That always helps. Thank you. And you know, you reminded me, you reminded me of this neat little feature that I figured out here that, well, now I can't remember. There it is. There's the button. Ah, haha. I made a thing happen, guys. You be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already, even though you guys are all regulars in the chat room. Um, yeah, I'm getting ready to do a little bit of crafting here. So once I move these figures off the table, but yeah, I felt like jawing there about a bit about Zombie Squad. And actually, this is the time of year when we used to do most of our events. I was looking through old pictures today, and you know, two of my very close friends that I made from uh, the Zombie Walks, they had passed away. Jim Squires was a phenomenal artist and a phenomenal tattoo artist, and Drew Cazares, again, fantastic artist, a guy that could make anything happen. He could get anything. He is a local New York hardcore legend. Um, I had no idea he was that much into the local hardcore music scene until he had passed, and I'm seeing countless guys with like New York hardcore shirts and old bandmates and stuff, and it just blew my mind. But Drew was a phenomenal human being. He used to run an art show, the Coffin King art show, where you get a coffin lid, different sizes, and make artwork. And Drew had his tattoo studio, Armory Studios, in Massachusetts. What the hell is the name of that town? Doesn't matter. North Adams. Um, and you know, he did my mythosaur skull. He was going to cover up my shoulder piece, but he passed away before we were able to do that. So just very, very good friends, brothers. They are since gone, but Drew and Jim were two grown-up artists who gave a kid, and I was a kid, I was 21, 22 when we started doing the thing with the theater, gave a kid like me a shot at hanging with the big dogs and working on my craft as an artist and being treated like an adult, not a kid. And I will always thank them for that. I actually keep some artwork that Jim did for me, and I also keep his business card in my workshop downstairs, framed as a reminder, because he gave me my first shot, and Drew gave me my first real art show to present my work in. So I will never forget those guys. But we made so many friends. We did so many cool projects together. And yeah, that's why I like zombie stuff so much. I think that's why it still stays with me. So if you like my book, which is available on Amazon, go pick that up. Tales of the Undead, short stories, great for Halloween. And if you order it by Prime, you will get it before Halloween, I believe. And also, if you order it on Kindle, you'll have it like right then and there. So, but anyway, so let me get these figures off here and we'll work on a little bit of customizing stuff. Yeah, and again, anybody watching, anybody who watches the replays, thank you for watching the replay. If you have if you've got any of these riot troopers, the scout troopers with the riot shield, and you're not looking to hold on to them, hit me up. We might be able to work something out. Whether it's a trade or a sale or something. I'm invested. I'm interested. He did a punk show the other day. Yeah, there's a lot of I'm grateful for Albany's punk scene. Like that's a huge thing that's like coming more and more like active, and also like they have oddity shows and flea markets, punk rock flea markets, which are a lot of DIY stuff, which I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of. So that's really cool. And there's a lot of like comic stuff there, people doing artwork with like decoupage, old comics and bootleg shirts. Um, that may or may not be why I'm getting some of these Jurassic comics to look at doing a run of bootleg Jurassic shirts. I don't know. You didn't hear that from Famine. Um, yeah, just throwing it out there. Just putting that in the world. Oh, nice. My grandfather, I don't know if he would have sat and watched streams with me, but I know he appreciated the world building I was doing with my toys back when the proto precursor to what Gimmick would have been lived over there before MTV made me fuck around and move everything that was over there. Oh, that's sweet. That's cool. Say hello to your grandfather for me. and tell him it's awesome that he supports his grandson like that. That's really cool. Yeah, look at that. Look at that Gamorrean. Look at him. He's just missing a hand. That's humorous to me. He's just somebody chewed the handle. Like that's like the hand over here. It's hard plastic. You guys have seen vintage figures. There ain't no like that accidentally snapped off. Like somebody had to put an effort to gnaw that fucker off. So, well, Gamorrean guard. Okay, okay. Those guys up there. So, honestly, might keep that stupid battle droid the way it is. It's so dumb and clunky. I feel like he did get too close to the Rancor. I guess that's a good point. um, I kind of want to like leave that big battle droid like he is, but just like paint him white, make him look really goofy. Um, but we shall see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little research and find out what the hell this guy is because he looks really cool. Um, so today I'm thinking, as far as pain goes, I could do one of two things. I've been holding this guy. This was a Nerf gun. I think you have to sell your kid. I think that's what happens when your kid starts eating dinosaurs. Is you have to sell them. You have to get rid of. You have to get that out of your house. That's not safe. It's not safe. Um, the mystery figure again. This gentleman here, he has a removable helmet showing a really cool head sculpt. Like, and then under his robes, he's got like a Doctor Strange vibe. And let me see if there's a year. Hasbro 2011. So he's got to be from one of the comic packs. Is it? Huh. Were we supposed to see? Were we were we supposed to see these guys on screen like with their helmets off? I don't think this is pro. No, I don't think this is a Protarian because he doesn't have the armor, and they all had armor. I don't want to spend too long looking for it off screen. I feel like an ass if I do that, but yeah, that's why I'm saying it can't be the First Order. Um, it's not an Imperial Guard. Um, why is his name escape? Why is his name escaping me? Here we go. Apparently, Imperial Royal Guard. Uh, he was a sentinel. He's supposed to have shoulder pads that he doesn't have with this figure. So, um, I don't know how to share my PC screen, but that was a TVC Emperor's Royal. Come on, it was a Walmart item. Um, came with extra helmets. Star Wars Vintage Collection, Emperor's Royal Guard, Return of the Jedi. No, that's weird. The photo doesn't match the figure. Strange. We'll get to the bottom of this another time, but he had the dual-ended pike stick. Why am I having such a hard goddamn time remembering his name? Doesn't matter. Anyway, uh, and also, if Blue, if your kid chewed the head off of a dinosaur, did your child do this as well? It's a little fucked up. It's a little fucked up. Not your kid, just the fact the kid's chewing the thing. Um, but yeah, no, this is a big mystery. I'm very excited about this. Carner Jacks. That's who I was thinking. Like maybe they made a different version. Um, but yeah, seeing like the shoulder armor would actually make sense that the shoulder armor would sit over top of this, making it look different. And then when you took the robes off, you could swap it out. Um, yeah, I don't know what I'll use the body for. I know I'll use the helmet and the robes, but thing looks sick. I like that. But anyhow, customizing. Like I said, this was a Nerf gun. So the three barrels were here. I say Nerf, it was a dollar store Nerf. Cost me $1.25. It's another one of those budget things that I'm big on. Had three barrels, had the pull plunger, had the pistol grip and the handle. I took it apart, took all the insides out, cut the handle off because that's a speeder bike. Like 1000%. That's speeder bike. That's the position and everything. Like see, like even old Django, who's in a really weird position, knows it's a speeder bike. So yeah. All right. So I'm glad we hit the bottom on that. That would have kept me up. I would have been going through old forum posts, but I'm turning this into a speeder bike. Like I said, it's it lends itself perfectly. And then I've got this room for electronics here, and I have this little end of a tube. When I used to buy my bootlaces, they'd come in like a cigar tube, a plastic cigar tube. So I'm thinking I've got these tea lights, these LED tea lights, which of course as soon as I need them, I move them out of the way so I can't find them. But essentially, thinking I could pack that in there, and it's remote controlled, so I can turn it on and off remotely. Put it in there, frost this up with some yellow, so it looks like a glowing engine. Maybe just some type of different technology. And yeah, this is going to get turned into a speeder bike. So this is something custom that I've been fussing with, and then this will get covered up with some styrene, or maybe I'll use cardstock just to keep it cheap. Keep it on the really inexpensive, because that's what I like to do. Well, drop some knowledge on us, Bjorn. What do we got? The exact figure. Talk to me. So what am I going to need for this guy? I'm going to need quite a few things, actually. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I've got this goofy peach lamp. That was going to be for my Twi'lek dance club. I don't know what it'll be used for now, but I just thought it was funny because you want some booty with your Twi'leks, I guess. Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say that these days? Who's to say? Not me. I'm not a Twi'lek. Um, so I'm thinking I'm thinking of using, like I said, either styrene plastic, or maybe I use some plastic packaging, like from. Sorry, Han, but I'm gonna need your package for just a second. Oh, that's what Leia said. Because you got this nice flat clear plastic. Could do that and just cut that off of there. It doesn't need to be clear. It actually could be card, like I said. So that's an option and a great way to reuse your packaging. So less of it winds up in a dump and more of it sits on a shelf. Is to use it for like windows and transparencies, which I use. You guys have seen me use before, so just something to consider with your world building is that there's opportunities there to reuse stuff in ways that maybe you normally wouldn't. Um, or I could go ahead and use the card from Han and you know cut that out. And I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll cut a little bit of that cardstock, even if it's just a base to glue things on. Bless you, Snowflake. Gesundheit. Okay, Snowflake just had a little sneeze fit over there. You okay, little lady? That's just taking a chunk of that standard card. And then what I'll do is I'll put this here on the table like so. And I'll trace one out right on there. And then I'll cut that out with scissors and I'll glue it in place. After I show you a trick. Just like I said, trace this out. Oops, sorry guys. All right. So I just used a Sharpie, drew the outline of what I need to cut. I am going to cut it a little bit larger, just around the exterior of the design that I put down, because I'll go over it with a knife to trim the edges to make it more flush. And just keep making these little cuts. So now I've got that, and we're starting to see how this is going to apply. See, that'll be glued on there. They'll have that extra, then we'll trim that extra off with a knife. I could do it with scissors here, but I find that if I do it once it's been tacked to the item, it makes life a little bit easier. And the other thing is, do one of two things. Do our old friend Green Scotch Brite, which you know me, I love, and I love to shake the table while you guys are on there. And that does take a little bit of the glossiness of that paper off, but I think in this case, because we're going to be tacking it down to something, I'll use a nail file. Just use a nail file and go over that whole thing. I could just focus on the edges where it's going to glue, but we'll do the whole thing. And now you can see it's scuffed it up enough to give it some tooth for adhesion. So we'll use just regular super glue because I don't feel like opening that other one yet. And I like to use up my glue before I jump on other things. And it's just take that around there, spread the glue, and then you can come in here, Miss Azrael. She always like announces herself like, hello, I'm here. Am I allowed in? And I'll just give that a good press for about 10 seconds. I know it's super glue. It's supposed to be instant, but never seems to be instant for me. And I appreciate that. And I can feel it getting super hot through my hand. So that's taken care of. Hello, ma'am. Hello, Miss Azrael. Hi. Would you like to come say hello? Hello, gorgeous girl. Oh, baby. Nope, she doesn't want to be on camera, and that's fine. Oh, you got an itchy ear. There we go. Oh, and you're a baby. And that's Azrael. What are you doing, gorgeous girl? You gonna hang out on the back of my chair? No? Sometimes when I work during the day, if you guys have followed me on Instagram, you've probably seen in my stories, Azrael will sit behind me on the back of my chair. When I wrote Tales from the Undead, she was actually, there's a couple of pictures. Please stop tugging on my headset cord. There's a couple of photos of her completely passed out, draped over my shoulder while I was at my girlfriend's kitchen table writing. because she just got up there and got comfy like a Yaslarmy almost, and just like draped herself over my shoulder. Uh, very cute, very cute. So that's on there. And now, like I said, I will take this knife here, safety knife. This, I know this one has a brand new blade on it. That's why I'm taking it. And I'll just go right here, and I'm being careful as I cut towards myself. Dude, cats are great. I love these cats so much. Like they enrich my life in ways that I didn't know that I needed, and I am always, always, always thankful for them for that. And then you see, I was able to cut really close and follow that exact curve. And then I'll show you one other trick when I'm done trimming this up. And you see me cutting towards myself. I generally, as a rule, always say cut away from yourself. However, in this case, I've been doing this particular method of cutting and trimming for most of my life, so I am most comfortable safely doing this. This allows me way more control over the blade than if I were cutting away from myself. So in this instance, do as I say, please, not as I do. I hate that expression, but I also recognize I'm doing something that's, you know, maybe not normally considered that people would do. And then I'm just going through here, trimming this anywhere where I might have missed or not gotten in close enough that I feel. So that's all taken care of there. That's done. A little bit here. Okay. So that's on there. Hey, what's going on, man? Late night streaming over here. How are you tonight? So that's on there. That's just a piece of cardstock for those just joining us. That's the package from a Han Solo figure, and super glue. So now that that's on there and I've done my trimming, you can see I've kind of done it at an angle too. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take that same sanding stick or nail file, whatever you want to call it, and just pull those edges. Just like that. Just a little on there. And then I'll also just swirl it up on this side because I'm going to be attaching some shit to it. And Adrian, I actually wanted to show you, if you guys are looking for, if you've seen my dinosaur videos and you want, maybe some more predators with, or predator animals, not predator yata. Anyway, predator animals with saddles, dinosaurs, go over and check out Devastation Station. But I actually pulled in one of my rescued bags that I rescued from a thrift store. This has had its third life. This was like a full purse, and I turned it into a backpack for my friend's super sexy Laura Croft costume and made it into the tiny video game backpack for her. She's since retired that cosplay and returned the items that I made for her. So this bag will now have a new life as leather for saddles for the dinosaurs. So that's what I'm going to be using, is this Metro Gear bag. I don't even know if this is real leather. I kind of hope it's not. I try not to use real leather unless it's reused, but be kind of cool if this was fake leather. But that'll be for another video. So now that that's on there and trimmed, I kind of just go around and see if there's anything else on there that I can trim, and I found one spot. And you might be asking yourself, why is it so important that it's flush? It's not. This is just part of my process of making sure that my work is as lined up as it could be, um, when I want things to look like it's factory. How's that sound? That sounds reasonable, right? You want your work to look the best. And even though I'm certain this thing will get all dinged up and weathered and all that stuff, I still like to put in that little bit of extra effort on my end. And I know it seems silly to some people, but them's the ropes. Bjorn, that is a great question. I want to throw that up there. Yes, I have done commission work for customs. I am not taking I'm not taking commission work for customs in the sense of someone can reach out to me and say, "Hey, Famine, I want a stormtrooper that looks like me." I used to do that. Those days have passed. Um, if someone sees something that I made and they say, "Hey, can you make me that?" and it's easily replicable for me, there is an option that I can do that, and that's something we can certainly talk about. But as far as like just on commission based design and work and stuff, I don't do that anymore. But as always, if there is something that somebody's interested in or curious about, please feel free to reach out to me. Like we can have a discussion. I don't mind. But like I've done customs for stuff for people before. Um, I've sold customs that I've had for years that I made and just, no longer fit my decor or somebody was really interested in it. But I'm not taking any direct customs now, but the door is always open. Someone can reach out if it's especially if it's something that I've banged out before and can make. So thank you for asking. And they sell finger guards and gloves so you can cut that way. Um, I worked in a machine shop for aerospace. I still have my Kevlar gauntlets and Kevlar gloves. I just also worked in restaurants and I can knife peel potatoes and that's the way I do it is this way. And I was also raised by a Slovak grandmother cooking, and when she would cut stuff, she always did the thumb towards herself. So that's how I learned to do it. So that's how I did it. The only thumb, and I say this now, I don't want to jinx myself, so I'm going to knock on wood. The only thumb-based injury is you'll uh, see how that's flat there, where it should be round. Um, Chef's knife. First day with the brand new knives after a season of just resharpening manually knives at the restaurant. As soon as the guy came in for the new knives, I knew I was going to get cut. I was cutting up romaine lettuce right there for a fresh Caesar salad. Came down with that knife. The lettuce was wet. It shifted, came down again, caught my thumb, pulled it back up, didn't even feel it. That's how sharp the knife was. And then realized something felt different on that downstroke. Set the knife down, looked down at my pad and my thumb, and you could see pure meat, pure muscle, and a little bit of bone. And I looked at the knife. On the other side was the thumb, the pad of my thumb. And I went, oh, yanked my towel off, my clean towel, wrapped my thumb up, ran to the bathroom. And as anybody who worked in restaurants that doesn't have health care because we can't, for some reason, provide health insurance to people in the food industry, people you don't want sick working around your food, um, wrapped that thing up after I cleaned it with the first aid kit, duct taped around it with the towel on there, got back to work, threw the salad out and cleaned the knife. But man, so I'm always weary. Um, but yeah, and that wasn't even cutting towards myself. That was just happened to come down. That lettuce was wet. The knife was brand new and sharp. And so when I came down, it just, holding it, it just shifted enough to where it brought my thumb into the path. Because if anybody cooks, example, when you're cutting, use your knuckles as a guard. This way, if you come down, heaven forbid, you instead getting knuckle instead of your fingertips, and just the greens shifted, and it was just enough to put my thumb in that path. Sucked. Um, my thumb hurt for months. Sure, I scraped the bone. Sure, I did some nerve damage. I mean, I can barely feel that. Yeah, just like shitty DIY healthcare. Um, I'm certain I should have had stitches and probably not worked with my hand for about a week, but that happened when I smashed my hand on the drill press at work. Um, I guess you can kind of see when I tan, the scar is way more visible. At my old job, um, they had drill presses that were from like the 50s. So they had that big chuck key, that big, anybody that's worked with a machine shop knows about those big giant honking chuck keys. You put it in there. Well, somebody had the wrong chuck key left on the drill. So you had to like put it in and like really work it. I didn't know that. So I just did my instantaneous like muscle movements. Um, and what happened is it turned, slipped, and then my hand caught the brand new blade rode it down, and punched into the surface platform where you're drilling through, and it lacerated my finger up real bad and put FOD, which was metal shavings at the time, up in there. So it just like blew my finger open. Had to go take a piss test, had to get stitches. I got 3 stitches there. And I know that's not a lot of stitches, but I got 3 stitches on that finger and then had to go back to work. And so my finger got so stiff from the pain and the shot and the cleaning and everything. And I'm, trying to drill using my middle finger to run the drill and holding things on the drill press. It was a pain in the ass, so I do try and baby my hands, and I am careful when I can. Yeah, man, my hands used to be so wrecked from working in kitchens. I could grab a saute pan. I could grab a saute pan from Thane. How's it going? How's Germany? Um, from the salamander, and that's where they like broil up the cheese and stuff. I could grab those saute pans and set them in the window. I could grab a hot handled pan from the oven if we're doing a saute dish that gets finished in the oven, and just grab it and set it on the counter because my paws were so ruined from calluses and working in the kitchen and cutting and just grabbing hot shit all the time, carrying trays, pots with hot water, like the steam going through those towels because you splashed a little. You just got your hands really tough. But it was like it's taken me years to get a lot of feeling back in from those days working in the restaurants, and then also working in machine shops where they say, "Oh, this is an ergonomic drill. This drill here is gonna keep your hands and joints and stuff safe, and it doesn't." Hey, what's going on? You're up late, or are you traveling and you're up early? Um, because I don't know. Then again, you guys got the hour difference in time, I think. You're not Eastern Standard. Um, but like my hands used to be completely mucked up from working in restaurants and machine shops, and now that I work work from home, and I do a lot of my crafting, I've gotten a lot of feeling. There you go. Gotten a lot of feeling back in my hands and can use them much more better for my craft. I still do shake a little bit. I think that's just me. So, which I'm sure if you've seen my customizing and you'll like have to see if I'm painting something, I really have to like rest my hand to do my work. But that's good practice anyway. Hold your breath, rest your hand. So, um, but yeah, back to the customizing. As I was saying, I've made that surface. You're up early, Thane. That's let's see, Germany's 4 hours time difference from the United States East Coast. It is about 12:38 a.m. here. Um, I know I have a friend in Wales, and their time difference is 5 hours. Yeah. Um, 5 a.m. Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, but I've got that piece of card stock on there from the Han Solo figure. It matches up with everything. If you really wanted to go ham, if you really wanted to be extra, extra, you could certainly really scuff that up. Like take your knife and carefully like really make cross hatches all over pretty even, and you could smear spot filler over that so it's like Bondo, and then sand and polish it super smooth so it looks like plastic. I'm going to be attaching stuff to it. Um, I don't know when our daylight savings time is this year. It's usually after Halloween. I don't know. I just work here, guys. I just work here. Um, but yeah, you could put Bondo on there and smooth it out, maybe dome it up, pack it with foil. A million things you could do. But I'm not going next weekend. Okay, so of course it's the weekend. I'm probably going to be traveling to Connecticut that weekend, and of course, at least I'll gain an hour. Um, Bjorn, that's really cool. My class ring, my class ring was so stupid. Um, it's over there. I could go get it, but I'm not gonna. Uh, but it's got. I was huge into the into pro wrestling. I mean, I still am. But instead of our mascot, which was a Native American, I got a bull. because I like the Rock, and one of my online handles was the Kev. Uh, so that's on one side. Stupid glass ring. Why are you giving children choices like that? I don't know. Um, but I just mine was goofy. So I think I'm gonna wait on attaching anything to this for the time being, but it's nice and scuffed up for adhesion, so I'm not too worried about that. Now I need to think about how I'm going to either disguise this or use this in the design. Because again, for those just joining, this was a Nerf gun, a dollar store Nerf gun that I paid $1.25 for. That I immediately saw the barrels were here, the handle was here, and the plunger was here. But I immediately saw speeder bike. I was like, damn, that's a little swoop bike seat, you know. So that's what I'm working on. I think I'm gonna cut a saddle piece for this out of foam and then go over it with green stuff. That's the plan. Rick, I was actually just telling these guys about our camping trips, our ZS stuff that we did for the Zombie Film Feast. Rick is one of the guys that I was saying that I still, we still hang out, we still go camping, we still talk daily. Um, you know, these guys brothers. So we've survived some really shitty cold weather together and had some really fun times together. Um, so Rick's good people. Yeah, I'm gonna put the handlebars. I actually considered so you see that knob that's there, that little proud button with the raised knurling around it. I'm thinking I may drill out there and put a crossbar and then put the handlebars coming off of that. Maybe do like ape hangers, um, big and up, and then I could put foot pegs down here. Yeah, it's been a 2011, right? Winter camp 2011 was -17, I think, or was it 2007? We went on for those just joining. We went on a winter camping trip in the Adirondacks to I want to say Hole Pond. It was either Hole Pond or Pollywog Pond up in the Adirondacks. It gets unbearably cold. Like even with the right gear, you can still be miserable. And it was '07. Um, and that was my first winter camping trip. And even with all the preps and stuff, like my tent didn't do well. It was a Walmart tent. And yeah, it was a bad night, but it was -17 degrees, but we all survived. We all took care of each other. Um, that was a that was a cool trip, man. I actually found I found the dog tags, the clear plastic dog tags. I still have that in my challenge coins. The shirt is here somewhere. I still have that shirt somewhere, and I think I cut the front off of it because it got a tear in the sleeve. Polywog. Yep. To make it into a patch one day for a jacket, but man, that was a hell of a trip. And it was the following year we thought Steve died. He was sleeping in an igloo on the lake, and we thought he had froze to death because he left. He wasn't there. He was not in the igloo. Um, so yeah. So to this point, I'm thinking possibly the steering wheel going through there. But as far as this here, this is where the person's going to be sitting. That's going to be the seat for the rider. So I'm just gonna. I think I'll do a piece of card there, and that's fine because I've got all this extra from the one that I just cut off of there. In that case, I'll just use the straight edge of the ruler down on the table to make sure that my cut is nice and straight. I don't need anything complicated. I just need the line to be 100% straight. And then also when I cut this radii here That's not a radius, the angle here. I'll just drag my blade across the cardstock in that spot so that it folds in nicely. Yeah, that'll work. And Rick, were you in a hammock that weekend? I can't remember. And so for me to, um, unrelated to the hammock inquiry, for me to find where that angle is, I'm just putting it on upside down, and then I'm making a little tiny divot in there with my knife so that I know where this blade is going to go, and then I'm just going to set it down here with the razor. I will drag the blade across it, set it down with the razor with the ruler. Can you tell it's nighttime? And then shivered all night. Yeah, dude, it was miserable. And then see that little cut is there, and then it matches up perfectly. So I can now make the next one, which I can just physically push in, and now I know where it is, and we've got it lined up. Dude, that was a brutal, brutal trip. And like, I remember speaking with Steve more recently, and he's like, you guys retired from outdoor camping. It's just I don't want to suffer like that anymore. That shit sucks, man. It's cold. Um, but we certainly had a blast, man. That was a hell of a trip. Hell of a trip. And so now I've got my little piece of cardstock that meets the shape of that, and I'll scuff that up on the inside, and we'll glue it in place. And again, for scuffing it up on the inside, I'll scuff the sides with the radiuses cut in. I'm just going to use the same sanding stick as before, just enough to give the glue some purchase so that it adheres. Yeah, if it wasn't for Derek that following night, man, I would have had a horrible time just because how my tent quit on me. Those Walmart tents, guys, they're not. Even though it says like, oh, it can handle winter weather, no, it can't. It cannot. Don't let those bastards at Walmart lie to you. Stephen Walmart and I are going to have a conversation one day. About how he gets away with these crimes. It's like Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. He can't keep running away for this. Except it's me screaming at, Walton, the guy that owns Walmart. Okay, and we've got super glue on my hands already, so you can tell it's Friday. Okay, that's there, that's there, that's there. That is damn perfect. Oop, oop, oop. Come on, baby. Okay. I'm just using the back of the blade to push in on those angles that I cut in there to make sure that they adhere really well. And then pushing down anywhere else. And there we have it. And I'll just trim that. Again, case of do as I say, not as I do. Don't cut towards yourself, guys. Hey, have a good morning. Enjoy your breakfast, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. Looking forward to see some more of your photography and what you've got going on with your world building. Dude, Bucky's is the greatest store in the world. Go to Bucky's. Just take a road trip. Bucky's road trip. So I've done that on there. And this is a habit I'm trying to get back into, is putting my tools back where I pulled them from before I move on to the next step. Not always good at it, especially when I'm working in like a tizzy, when I get like really manic and go quick. Um, but we're making nice progress here tonight. So we've got the card down on there just to cover up that seam. I don't know if that was certainly necessary, especially with all the things I'm putting there, but rather do that than be sorry. And I guess since I've super glued this thing closed, I can throw the screws in right now. That way I don't lose them. Um, how? All right, guys. I am an upstate New Yorker. I've been to Bucky's twice in my day. Y'all need to get your cars, get your buses, call up a friend, call up a family member, talk to your union representative, whatever you got to do. Get to Bucky's. It's an experience. And then this is the point where Famine realizes he can't put the screws in yet because he doesn't have his long screwdrivers in this room. So I'll just set those aside again. Yeah, Bucky's is the wildest place I've ever been to. It is it's a gas station the size of a fucking Walmart where everything is branded with their beaver, and it's the greatest thing in the world. I swear to God, it's so cool. It's like I want to get the Bucky's onesie. That's the beaver onesie. I'd love to own that and have that in my home. It's just like an item that I get to wear. Hmm. Yeah, so I'm gonna drill those holes out right now. Yep, that's gonna happen. So I've got my pin vise and my bits. I went to the one that is in between Austin and Dallas. I could not tell you where that was, only that I have been there. We went to my friend Travis and I, who you guys may have seen in a couple of my vlogs and a couple of my pictures on Instagram if you follow me there. Um, he and I went to the Royal Rumble, or no, excuse me, this was for WrestleMania where we went to Bucky's the first time. Um, we were headed to, like I said, Dallas from Austin, and we decided to stop on our way there to stock up on some provisions and check the place out because I had never been. And he was like, "Oh, this is a Texas thing you got to check out." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" Having formerly lived in Texas, they didn't have Bucky's at the time, or if they did, it was not the same that it is now. And holy shit, what an experience! All right. And all I've done here is I've just started a pilot hole in that little divot, and now that actually looks really cool. If there were more of those on there, I'd probably go through and do that. There is, but those are smaller. Anyway, so it looks more like a rivet now, but I'm just opening that up so I can put a bigger drill bit, and I'll do that on this side as well. Um, yeah, no, Bucky's is the coolest. I actually have a Bucky's face mask for COVID that Travis picked up for me um, while he was there. Because why not? Why not have fun if you're going to be wearing something to protect your face and you want to make a statement? My statement is I enjoy corporate mascots. I think they're the funniest shit in the world. And Bucky the Beaver, that's a great one. Okay. And we'll crank that back a little bit. Now I've just switched bits in my pin vise to make that open that hole all the way up so I can fit something through as a cross brace for a handlebar. That allows that to sit right in there so I don't have to worry about it jumping all around and leaving me with uneven holes on either side. That's one of the benefits of buying a pre-made toy or an item and modifying it, is a lot of times they're symmetrical. So you can take you can take advantage of the symmetry in your builds. And as somebody who likes symmetrical things, I appreciate that. There we go. And I'll just use my knife later to clean. Well, nope. Just stick that in there. Clean that up. I'll clean that off with a knife in a minute, but open up one side. And now we open up the other. Same thing. It just sits right in that nice little divot. And then once I punch through, and then I just back it out, all that debris falls off. And then I put my drill bit away. Because if I don't, I'll lose the damn thing. I know that's the less exciting part of customizing, but it's there. It's part of it. Gotta embrace the process. Otherwise, the process could suck. You don't want it to suck. You want it to be enjoyable. Loves. I don't know that I've heard of Loves before. Is that a chain? Because I know we have, here in New York, we have like Stewart's and Cumberland Farms, which is more East Coast, New England based. I know Stewart's is New York and Vermont, and I think that's it. I don't think there's any in Massachusetts. But then there's like Wawa and Sheets down in Pennsylvania and further south. There we go. So that's cleared up. Like I said, I just took my knife and cleared off the flare that was around the edge. And now, as far as something to thread through there, I know I just saw a piece of styrene. I don't even want to show you guys my workstation right now. It's a little embarrassing, but it's all for good cause. There's that piece of styrene I saw. No, it's not. I lied. All right, now we go to the bin of styrene and plastic, and we choose a thin black straw. I think that'll work. Possibly. Or could do wood. I think we'll take a look at the wood box. Yeah, we're gonna pull this. I have a box full of wood. That is 1/18 scale, yes, sir. Everything I do is 1/18 unless it's like a monster, and then that's like a variable scale. Let's see. Could use that. I don't want to. You guys can't see in here, but I can. That's the important thing because I need to be able to see what I'm doing. I know it's a square. Yeah, that does fit. And that fits nicely. Yeah, okay. So it is square, but it fits so nicely. That's actually a matchstick. And what I can do is anything that I glue on there, I can then trim that off. So I think I'm gonna center that up, put a drop of glue on either side just to fasten it in place. That's perfect. So this is why we keep a box full of wood on our table, or excuse me, on the station, the workstation next to us, the storage cart, as it were. box of wood. And like I said, I'll line this up here a little bit more. There we go. And then, like I said, just a drop of super glue on either spot just to hold it fast. I could do the baking soda to make like epoxy or make Bondo, but I just need it to soak into the wood a little bit and fuse with the plastic. So we've done that. I want to greebly this hole. I want to cover this hole with a greebly. I don't want to cover it with sheet of plastic or whatever. So let's see, what do I got for greeblies? I have so many. I don't know which container I want to pull out. I know I have a couple that I haven't organized. Maybe I use one of those right now. Yeah, so there's this. I thought this was badass. I don't think this is going to work for what I want it for, but it's a little circle. This was off the plunger, actually, from the... I thought about doing the metal plate. And you know what, Bjorn, you're right, because there's going to be some shit attached there. So I think I should do the metal plate, but I won't do cardstock this time. I'll do foam with sticky paper back to it. So I will, again, trace this out, put it on there, and then trim it with a knife. And this is where my cosplay shit comes into play, because I used to work strictly with EVA foam. We'll do... I'm not gonna bother to trace it out. I'll just place that there, cut it with a knife, slice that off there. So I've cut this chunk of sticky back EVA foam, and I could super glue it. I'm not going to, because it's sticky back. This is already scuffed up and ready for adhesion. And then I will just place this centered as best I can on there, because I'm going to trim it off. All right, so that's on there. As you can see, there's plenty of overhang, so I'm going to take care of that. And here's a trick for you. 45-degree angle with an X-Acto knife or a safety blade, and you want a nice new one. In fact, I will use the new knife. I'll use the new safety knife, since that's what I've been doing. 45-degree when you make your cuts, and it gives you a nice professional looking edge. Or if you scallop it, you can make it look like it's been cut out of like heavy metal. I'm doing just a little bit of scalloping because I can, just to show off. Even if, like, famine, we don't want to see you show off. We want to see you make good quality products. And I say to that, mind your business. Why are you here? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, the 45-degree angle cut always gives you a nice bevel to work off of, especially if you're trying to make something look like it's made out of like crude metallic, because this is going to be some type of yeah, don't mouth it off. You don't want to get mouthed off by some metallic foam. And then I guess I'll do 45 across the top too. Why not? Just to make it look like metal. And then I will take sanding stick. Normally I do this with a Dremel, but I'm not firing up the Dremel at 1 o'clock in the morning. Although I'm confident my grandmother would sleep right through it, and so would the dogs and the cats. Well, maybe not Mama Snow, but I'm not going to fire up a Dremel this early in the morning. And that looks pretty shitty, which is kind of what I want, because you guys will see as this develops into the machine that I want it to be. And then with foam, you can do this with a heat gun. I'm, again, not going to fire up a machine, but you just want to kiss the cells to help seal them up, take care of any hairs on there, wisps. That's it, right? So that's, see how it's nice and shiny? That means it's sealed. I've got so many tools downstairs in my actual like former workshop where I used to do my my cosplay work down there. Like I've got angle cut specific tools that are set for cutting angles. I've got a circle cutter that's designed for cutting circles into EVA foam that you can set it at angles and depth and everything. Um, so many different tools and stuff, but being as I'm up here due to the damage downstairs, I just don't bring those up. So I'm gonna go over this one more time because I just made a cut, and I think yep. So we're gonna put some rivets on there. You guys have probably watched me do these before. You will watch me do them again. That's if you're gonna stay and watch on the stream. Let's see here. So I have some options for rivets. I've got these big, thick boys, and then I have some smaller ones that I probably should use. Where are you guys? I know you're in this bag because I put you in this bag. Use this to keep that out. Don't you guys love it when like a custom maker has like no clue where stuff is, and then he rummages through his parts for most of the episode? What's that? That's me? Oh, okay. Miter boxes are handy for woodworking. I will never take that away from them. But for cutting foam, I just prefer to set my angles up against the straight blade and draw it across. I promise I'm not trying to make a liar out of myself, but here I am. Could have sworn I had more of the little guys. Unless they're stuck to this somewhere else. That's all right. We can make do with the big ones. That is absolutely fine. It's a custom. It's not a. It's not the end of the world if the rivets are large, especially when you guys see how the final piece is going to look. So that is cool by me. So we'll do 3 rivets. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. No, we won't. We won't do rivets. We'll do rivets, but we're gonna do something different. Yeah. So we're gonna find a tube. One of the stops on the flea market trip was to the apple cider place, the Golden Harvest. All right, so we've got a couple options here. We can do a smaller tube or this tube. I'm thinking this tube because it's just enough for what I want. But basically what we're doing is we're going to press it into the foam and rotate it so that it leaves an indent. And then it's going to make the appearance of a rivet in the metal. And I'll do this a few times around there. And this is one of those reasons that I love foam. Cool. And now just to hit that again, seal up anything there. And now we've got a riveted steel plate on there. Now I'll add some scratches, digs, maybe a little dent here. Take that out. Use the flame to open those up. All right, cool. So we've got our riveted little plate there, just enough to give it some character. Nothing too dramatic for that. And again, like I said, you could certainly do super glue and, do super glue and baking soda to make the Bondo kind of instant bond weld thing that some people like to use. I love using that. I just don't think this needs it for this in particular. But if you wanted to build that up, you could. But yeah, I'm happy with that. So we've got that. We've got that. I want to figure out the foot pegs. So let me grab an articulated figure that's capable of riding this. Because I mean, obviously that 5 points of articulation, Gamora and guard isn't going to ride that, but maybe a biker scout could. Okay. Yeah, we'll give this guy some ape hangers. So we'll go. So riveting, right? Yeah, my work is very riveting. Boy, that famine guy, he's got jokes, doesn't he? That's all he's got is jokes. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll do fronts. So, got a Mando sitting on there. You'll notice that his feet are on the wrong sides too. I haven't figured that one out quite yet, but so we'll have to put foot pegs here, which is fine. I like that idea. And I'll do some ape hangers so that he can, whoever the pilot is, whoever may be driving this doesn't necessarily need to be a Mandalorian, can sit like that on there and drive. So that's looking good. I'm liking the way that reads. Probably will put a piece of something here as an extension. Make that seat a little higher. Popsicle stick. Hello, Snowflake. Do you want to say hello to the audience, Miss Mao? Oh, here she comes. Here she is. The most beautiful cat in all the land. This is Snowflake. Hey, baby. Say hello. Hello, people of the internet. And if you can hear her purring right now, it's because she loves her dad and loves attention. Huh. Love you. Go play. Not with that. Sorry. Have to give the cat some love when I can. Yeah, that's absolutely where I was inspired by it too. And I have one of those kicking around in a box here. But I wanted this to be something a little bit different. And you'll see That's what I want. Hey, Snowflake. She said, "Gotta go, Dad." Ran. So, like I said, I wanted that, so we'll do. Great thing about these Gotham Guardian. I'm not familiar with the Gotham Guardian. I mean, I'm presuming it's a Batman inspired item. Got one more cut through there. And I just snapped. I scored it 4 times and snapped it. Now I'll take that sanding stick again. Just clean up that edge. So that will go on there like that as a backer. And then when I sculpt some seats, some padding or something to it, that'll look nice. But that's perfectly what I'm going for. And then that allows for me to like put radio shit or like a storage bin there or something. 30 inches tall? Jesus Christ. And then I'm just using the rougher side of this. I was going to use the rougher side of that to do the whole thing, but I think what I'll do here is I'll just push it against there, make a mark with my blade again, and then where I want it to glue up to that point, I will just make cross hatches in the wood. So it gives the glue some extra teeth, some extra tooth, I should say, for purchasing so it can adhere better. Because that's the type of techniques that I am here to share with you guys. And I apologize if you can hear the train. I've got the window open. Just trying to enjoy the last of this fresh air before it gets super cold out. Because apparently, and again, in upstate New York, we go from 80 to snow in a couple of days. So I don't know if it's going to pick up on camera. There we go. You can kind of see what I've done there with the crisscross hatching. And then, like I say, put the glue on. There you go. You can really see it with the glue. And that's going to seat right here on the back of the bike. There we go. And I'll kind of press it so that it curves a little bit. As I said earlier, 10 seconds. There we go. Well, if you like trains, this is the spot. I live 100 yards from the train tracks. It doesn't bother me, but also I understand noise coming in. I mean, it doesn't bother me living this close to the train tracks. But I have a friend that lives in Queens, and I've stayed at his house a couple of times, and like those trains are fucking right there. I couldn't believe that. I may have made an oopsie, but as with all things, little bit of sanding and a little bit of reshaping. Won't matter. So could attempt, yep, could attempt to ruin it. Okay, so I just popped that off there because I want to fix that. And also, while I've got that off, since I can see where the glue was, I'll go ahead and score that part up too, so that when I reattach it, really like mates up well. All right. So what I did wrong was when I put the bottom down, I did not account for that little piece of cardstock that's down there. So it tilted it. Eating cereal out of a cup. Yeah, not me. No cereal out of a cup right now, obviously. I have a pizza that I made, and I had a slice right before I came on air. Trying to eat less, work on my girlish figure. And also, it's so late. I don't like to eat super late because then I have funny dreams. Because of the dairy, I think. I don't know. I never looked into that. That's like one of those things where people are like, oh, don't eat dairy before bed or you'll have weird dreams. I feel like that's an old wives' tale, but also could very well be true. I don't friggin' know. Right. Now, let's give this a round two. Round two. Yeah, it's they get louder. I don't know what they've been doing. But also I know that my neighbors, and Rick, I think I told you guys about this. My neighbors behind have trimmed down all the trees, everything that could be, sound blocking to benefit the neighborhood because they wanted a flat yard. And now it keeps flooding because they wanted a flat yard. So I really don't know what to tell them. The neighbors behind me, we had all kinds of plants and stuff back there from the previous houses that were great at dampening the sound of the train coming through. And the new neighbors moved in down the hill behind me, and they proceeded to cut down every tree, every hedge, anything that was tall that would stop the sound. So all I've got as like a barrier is the stuff from my backyard. And then in the winter, when that dies, it's just noise coming up because they trimmed all that down. So it's just gotten louder, and I can't tell if it's maybe the trains have gotten louder or if it's just because they clipped all that shit down. I don't know. So there we have it. I've got that seat lined up with the center. I'm happy with that. And it's a high back seat, so I'll be able to like sculpt a pillow rest type thing on there with some green stuff or some epoxy. I'm happy with that. Now, here's the $10 million question. Do I make the footrests permanent on there, or do I make something detachable? Let me stick this guy on here again. Yeah, that's nice. That's good positioning. I guess I make the footrests permanent. Yeah. And the cool thing is where the foot lines up, I can actually utilize this blue plastic here as the stopping point for the footrest and actually make it like a 90-degree thing so people can hook their heels in it and just ride. So that's cool. Do I want to use wood or plastic for that? I should probably use wood. Go to Starbucks or any coffee house, really. A lot of them have wooden stir sticks they offer for free. And if you're somebody like me who has no shame at all, you can take about as many of those as you can carry, and no one will stop you because they don't care. Because retail workers aren't paid enough to guard other people's stir sticks. And also, I'm sure if you ask and you're like, hey, I want to take these stir sticks, can I grab a couple extra? They'll be like, yes, but I just grab a few when/if I get coffee. And I keep them for roll making. They're great for building. They're so thin that they fall to the bottom of the bin, which is why it seemed like a struggle for me to dig that out. But yeah, there's quite a few in there. Can he swing his foot back to rest? Probably. But the pose that he's in, where he's like this, I can't imagine wanting to put your feet back. I imagine it more like ape hangers. Like, yeah, see, you can't see my whole body, but. All right, so first thing we'll do is we'll get the snips out. I'll just take that and then hit the dogs with it. Sorry, dog. Okay. So I could go that way. Hell yeah. I am very much a coffee guy. 6. So there's these little grooves on there. I counted 6 on this side that I'm going to have this on. So I'll do 6 over here. 2, 3, 6. So I'll just make my little mark there. And I'll make 2 of these. So now I've got 2 of these pieces. I'll sand them. Just clean up that snip edge because those nips are doing no favors. They haven't been sharpened since the day I bought them. That's my fault. Okay. So we will do that. And then again, I'm just taking long forks on sissy bars. I am a sissy, so I get it. And I'm just using this blade to scratch in a couple grooves to give that glue some purchase. And then this time, I'm just going to drag this guy through the glue on the edge. I'm not going to put a big old bead because then it takes forever to dry. Edge is wet. Maybe I guess I do need a bead. There we go. Famine, you should absolutely super glue your finger to this wood. Good idea. There we go. No. You're not. I was saying I'm a sissy. I would use sissy bar or sissy bars. That's what I would. I'm a sissy. I would use those. That's what they're called. I'd use them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, just using this to give that super glue something to bite onto aside from the scuffing that I already done. There we go. Famine, why didn't you learn and use tweezers like you said you should have the last step? Mind your business. Yeah, I've successfully super glued myself to this piece of wood twice, and this wood is a dude. There we go. Yeah, I'm starting to get thoughts about my beard. Um, Starting to wrap it up before I work on this stuff because that is a concern for me. I would not like to super glue anything into my beard, which I've done before. Not here, not on this project, but on cosplay back with my beard. I used to have this used to be down to about here at one point in my life. Um, so I always try and be a little more aware when I'm gluing so that I don't do that again. Because shit happens. All right. So now we've got those on there, and I'll make a piece to go in front. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how that glues up. I know what I can do, though. Let's not drop this. Hell yeah. Okay. Make that a snip there. Fire in the hole. Then we duplicate it. Fire in the hole. Yep. That'll be cool. You guys are like, Famine, what are you doing? Put it on camera. I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing, so just give me a second here. There we go. A little bit more glue there. There we go. See, this is where Famine applies a little bit of those smarts that he earned by screwing up the last couple of times. Possibly. What I'm doing now is I'm super gluing some more pieces of support that are also decorative to this. Not knowing if it's going to work or not, but it's going to look aesthetically pleasing. And really, at the end of the day, nobody's going to be riding this thing. So that's all I really wanted to do, is just be aesthetically pleasing. Okay, there's that. That's on there. Press that down. And then I'll press this down here on this side too. In a second, I'll show you guys what I've done. Go. That's taken care of. That's taken care of. Just added some wood. I took one of these guys, little fork, cocktail fork, and I cut those tongs off and put it on there underneath. And I'll, yeah, just added some more support, added some more texture. I may, yeah, I think I will use my blade to bring that in a little bit closer to the radius of the piece that it's up against. Yep. Working on a saddle for a Triceratops. Nice. There we go. Hell yeah. I won't do clear Legos. I actually do a black block, a black Jenga block, full sized, and the way that they sit, if you photograph it right, it looks like shadow underneath the bike. I've done that a couple of times with great success, so I'm gonna stick with that one. But I do appreciate the idea of clear Legos. I could see that working for a couple of different things. Um, couple of crazy things too. Let's see. Do I want to do that? I didn't throw that. You didn't see anything. Let's see. Remember when I said I was going to put something on the front? All right, so I'm going to let that sit over there and dry some more, and we're going to do a little work on this skull. I think that super glue's had it. Let's put that away. Put the snips away. Keep the knife out because I'm sure I'll need it. I don't need fire right now. So we'll use that drill, that pin vise that I talked about earlier that we used to make those holes. I need to open the eyes, the eye holes up on this because I'm a sucker for borderline accuracy. But yeah. So basically I'll use this to open up the eye holes so I can get a knife in there and then trim it out with the X-Acto. You guys see me switching through cups. I'm a 3-drink guy. I don't know why. This ginger lime mule seltzer, it's non-alcoholic. It's just a regular like polar seltzer, but I love the ginger lime. I am a bit of an eye hole. Just work that right through. Right on through. Easy, no noise. Nobody complains about the sound of a drill going off at 1 in the morning. Although twere just me here, I would. Can't even remember what the skull was from either. That's that's the fun part to me. Of like sometimes I'll wind up with things and then I go to explain where they're from or what they're used for, and I have no goddamn idea. Like, how am I supposed to teach these people? How am I supposed to share my secrets? And then I'm just carefully using my regular X-Acto blade to go from the hole and just make tiny little cuts to get rid of that excess material that's filling up the eye hole on this guy. Bjorn, late night crafting, and also like people that live in apartment buildings that maybe can't make noise past a certain time, or maybe just their walls are so thin, they try and be like super considerate of their neighbors. Um, I'll just try and share tips like this for them too. Um, I'd love to just use the Dremel. Don't get me wrong. I have this done in about 12 seconds, but I recognize not everybody has that. I think this was actually one of those Halloween skeletons that you could get at Michael's. Now that I think about it more, and so I just scooped it up, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna use the skull for something," because they are in no way anatomically correct. The skull is the closest thing to anything anatomical that might be correct, and even then, it's not. But this is a fictional, made-up world where dinosaurs are in space, so not gonna lose too much sleep over it. In fact, I'm sure that's what it was. It was one of those Halloween dinosaurs from last year from Michael's. Michael's or Joann's. And like I said, I'm just making little tiny cuts and opening it up. See, there's there's open versus just the hole. So hole from the pin vise. And I'm just working my way around to the edge, getting rid of all the black that's there's the quote unquote negative space in the skull. And I'll just keep working at that until it's clear on both sides. And then I'll go in from the back side. That's what she said. Actually, that's what he said. But I'll go in from the back and I'll clear up the any of the overhang because I'm kind of cutting at an angle to work that way, and it creates an overhang in the back, almost like when you're carving a jack-o'-lantern. You know, and you carve into it, and then you got to go in the back and kind of trim out the opening to hog out that eye, or hog out the nose, the mouth. And when I say hog out, do you guys know what I mean? That's something I always heard people say in my old job working in aerospace when they meant remove material. But I just wanted to make sure I'm not using like a term that's foreign, like, you know, mouthing off, mouthing somebody off. All right. So, like I said, went all the way around. Now there's just that tiny little bit there. So when I go and hit the back side of it, that should take care of that. But now I'll work on this side. That's the wrong hole. Oh, you know, your neighbors get mad when you come next door. It's the wrong back door, you son of a bitch. Sorry, I thought this was my house. Speaking of wrong back door, sounds like I'm going to get myself demonetized. I had a neighbor that was a drunk, like a really bad drunk. Um, you know, and alcoholism is no joke, but it was just so funny. He would he would just show up at people's doors because the apartment complex that we lived in, all the buildings looked the same. Um, he would show up at apartments just thinking they were his. And man, if you didn't have your door locked, this dude would show up in your living room and just like sit down on the couch and go to sleep and shit. And like so many people knew that they just let it happen, which is fucking wild to me. Like, I could not imagine just being like, oh yeah, that's Tim. He gets drunk and thinks he's in the wrong house and pisses in the corner and goes to sleep. Like, no, 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 Tim, you don't come in. So I always used to make sure my door was locked because I just couldn't imagine, you know, waking up in the morning, walking out, and there's a strange man asleep in my living room because all the apartments look the same, and he thought he was in his apartment for the night. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's wild to me. There we go. I I don't drink beer anymore. I am very much a mixed cocktail guy. when I do drink, and it's usually craft cocktails because I love the art of craft cocktail making. And yeah, I don't super drink much anymore just because I think as I get older, number one, the hangovers ain't what they used to be. Used to be in my 20s if I had a hangover, which was rare, but if I had one, you hit some Gatorade and take a couple of Advil and you'd move on with your day, maybe have a greasy McDonald's cheeseburger. But once you get into your 30s, those hangovers get a little more rough. So I don't super get slammed or super drunk anymore. There's other things that I would do. Hey, drinking's not for everybody, and not everybody has to drink. Um, but like I would prefer, just to enjoy an edible or something like that and hang out with friends versus, get super slam drunk. But if I do have a drink, I enjoy a craft cocktail because I appreciate the art of making them that goes into it, making the fruit juice, making the syrups, muddling the ingredients together. Um, as you've probably heard Bert and I discuss before, Bjorn, we're both super into tiki. Um, or tropical escapism, as it's getting called now, which is fine. Super into that, and craft drinks are a big part of that. And so I like to learn to make the different craft drinks and like the old recipes that were top secret that people are finally like cracking, or the people that had the recipes are so old that they are finally just like, oh yeah, we used X, Y, and Z, and that was our big secret at the bar. And so like all these old tiki recipes that have been hidden and secret for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years are now starting to come to light. And it's really cool to be able to make that at home and experience that trip to the past of what was available then. Um, I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't had a bad experience. You know, with it being legal in New York State, Clue and Tito's, and at this rate, um, it's legal in New York State, and get the controlled stuff with the measured amounts, so you know how much you're getting. And it's not your guy Randy down the street who's like, yeah, just you can eat the whole thing, you'll be fine, and then you're not fine. Um, yeah, Rick, the last beer that I had, um, I think it was one of the camping trips we were on. I just beer really fucks up my stomach, bloats me up real bad, and just isn't for me. Um, I prefer, like I said, I prefer the craft cocktails. I prefer the methodology of making the beverage, the time spent. Hello, Snowflake. Is your sister chasing you? Is that why you just ran and hid behind me? Yeah, that's cool. Opened it right up. And that'll be good for like chains to go through. Hello, Snowflake. She's like, Dad, why are you not in bed? It is well past my bedtime. I know we just took a nap before this live stream, but I feel like we should be getting more sleep. Huh, Snowflake? That's exactly what you're thinking. She's a sleepy lady. She head fits for Steve. Oh. Oh yeah, the Edmund Fitzgerald. Took me a second. If you'd like the okay. If you want the Target bag, you can have the Target bag. Just let me get the plastic bags out of there. Here. Go ahead. You can play with the Target bag now. Man's got to know his limitations. I know you're asking yourself, was that 6 shots or 5? Well, you gotta ask yourself something. You feel lucky, punk? Well, do ya? Okay, rather than get in the Target bag, Snowflake, hey, she's hiding behind the Target bag and attacking that toy that fell apart. Let me grab this from her. Sorry, guys. Oh, good night, Grandpa. Have a good sleep. Snowflake, what are you doing? Stop stealing Dad's stuff. All right. Yeah, Snowflake. Snowflake decided that she was going to play with the whatever this droid thing is that was in that spaceship. The ball popped out. Oh no, no, she's just playing with everything, and she hides behind her paper bag. Is what it is. I love this cat. She's a good egg. So that is largely cleaned out. I'll work a little bit more from the back just because I want to clean that. Because again, this will probably get, let's see. Confused. Yeah, Dad, why are you not in bed? It's bedtime, Dad. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly where that's going to sit. Hell yeah. I think I might glue that in place now. I'll wait. I'm going to do a little bit more sanding. Yeah, Snowflake's real good at showing me where things are that they're not supposed to be for little cats to not get into. Well, big cats that think that they're small. I got a picture of her yesterday trying to fit into an Amazon package that I sent on the floor that is about yay big. As you guys all saw, Snowflake's about yay big. And she tried like hell for about 2 hours yesterday to pot herself in this cardboard box. And it was just super cute. And I'm like, kitty cat, why are you doing this? You could just sit in another box, but no, she wanted to be in that box and she wanted to try and fit. So yeah, I wonder. There we go. I had a few loose wisps on there I didn't like, and there's a seam line on here I'm going to clean up. I don't know how she doesn't split the box, to be honest, because she's so big. She was a teeny tiny little cat. She had a medical emergency. Her uterus got infected. We're not sure how or why. They didn't really go into how or why, but one size was the length of a hot dog and about twice the size, or I think they said 3 times the size, and the other size was like the size of a grapefruit. They removed it, and she was able to heal and be healthy again. And then she just started growing and growing and growing. And we like joke that it was like her embiggening surgery. Like they just made it so she could grow big. But she went from a little cat to a big old thing. And I'm glad she's like Clifford the big red dog, except she's Snowflake the big white cat. Like she just keep growing. And we love her. Oh, Mau Mau. Beautiful baby. She's got the bag crinkled up, and she's resting her chin on one of the high points, laying on it like this. Like when I get my second camera set up here, what I'll do is I'll do a cat cam for customizing streams. That way, switching in between having an overhead shot for you guys to see what the hell I'm doing, and and the cats as they fuck around and cause chaos. It was the scariest part of my life, I think. Like I was ready to sell every single thing I owned. I was ready to sell my car, every action figure, everything possible. Like I would have gone and turned tricks on the corner to save this cat's life. And I had so many friends who donated to help take care of the expense afterwards and everything. But like it was a scary time because the one vet we took him to, like they weren't going to do anything without. I think they wanted like $1,000 down. And I'm like, are out of your fucking mind? Like, I can give you a credit card. Like, it cost us $300 to get her in for an emergency appointment. And then they were like, we can give her some antibiotics to fight this infection. And I'm like, great. That's absolutely great. Do that. And they were like, all right, that's 150. And then just by all told, it was literally my entire paycheck that week of like $560 just gone. And then they were like, okay, in order to do the surgery, we need $1,000 down, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what do you mean $1,000 down? Like, we just paid you $500. And it was a whole thing. And I understand they got to make their money. But this one in particular, we started to do some research into it after that. And it seems like they are just a money grabbing scheme. We have a really great vet that we go to now. Um, the animal hospital that we were able to find that was able to do the surgery for Snowflake, um, they were tremendous, but scariest goddamn. Yeah, I was ready to do anything to take care of this cat, like make sure that she was okay. That's my baby. Now she's a big baby. She's big, man. All right, so now that you guys have an idea of how this is going to be, I got to come up with something for these handlebars. I've got sprues and I've got HO scale um, pipes to go like on the sides of buildings and on the sides of chemical sheds and things like that. And I could probably make some handlebars out of those. I've also got some like small styrene bits. You know those the Q-tips that come in the plastic tubes? I caught a bunch of those plastic tubes out of there. My aunt had them at her house, and I was like, I'm taking some Q-tips. And she's like, oh, what do you need those for? And I was like, for my ears. But instead, I cut the cotton buds off after I use them to clean things with acetone. And then I have these little PVC tubes. But I do think that should get glued on now. Oh, I'm sure Legos would be good. I just have a Lego shortage. Um, actually, Bert just sent me, Aegis Station just sent me a couple of Lego sets, little minifig guy, and I was like, oh, neat. I know people use the alien heads from Lego minifigures to make customs. Let's see how that's gonna fit there. That's it. No, Snowflake, for once I can guarantee you don't want what's in this package, my lovely. Just looking at me like, is that a TREAT? No, ma'am, it is not. This is Supergirl. Okay. And we will apply a little bit of that there. Hell yeah. Right. Can tell you, I already hate this gel super glue. So thank you for the recommendation, but no. Also, humor me as I'm sitting here quietly and awkwardly. Do you guys hear some lo-fi music playing? Because I've got it set to play some lo-fi tunes, and I'm just wondering if it's actually obeying my command or if this, if I needed to do something physically to make that happen, or if the preset effort that I put in to make that happen is actually okay. Is tonight the night that Famine loses his temper on a toy dinosaur skull? Is tonight the night we find out if speeder bikes can really fly? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. There we go. This feed. All right. So that's good to know. How's that? Not too loud, right? But enough background noise to not make me sitting here struggling be awkward for everybody. Yeah, right. Me just screaming for 30 minutes. Which would actually probably be my highest rated stream. Like, y'all check out that Famine Studios guy. He just screams his entire stream. It's fucking wild. All right. Let that cure for about 10 minutes. Can you hear it now? Perfect. I didn't want it to blast you guys out. Let me how's that? Is that terribly loud, or am I still talking loud enough to where it's not weird? I just wanted to. I thought I had it preset for a little bit of background noise while I did these weird things, and I was just like, oh, okay, it makes sense that it doesn't play it for me, because why would I need to hear it? Not realizing that you guys maybe couldn't hear it. So I apologize for the long bouts of silence. Cool. Thank you, Bjorn. That's a Halo, right? ODST. That's the Jump Troopers. Turn it down just a tinge. That I can do. Split the difference. We'll go to 15 instead of 20. There we go. All right. There are a couple of Halo figures in my build box for parts. And I've got a couple of the regular, like, generic human workers from Halo. So those will be eventually be figures. I have one of the drop pods right here next to me. I haven't figured out what the hell I'm going to do with it yet. This guy, right? I might put some wings on it, make it into like a personal craft. We shall see. Oh. All right, well, that dries. Snowflake is left, never to reclaim her paper bag. She went to chase her mom. Nice. They were always a little too tall for what I wanted, the Halo figures, for me. But I did pick up, because I got the pod. I've got the Mantis, which is weird because it was like on clearance and then it wasn't. And then it was on clearance again and then it wasn't. Couldn't figure that out, so I only got the one. But yeah, there's some cool stuff there. The humans, the regular four-wheeler driver, I picked him up, and the four-wheeler, because I love a good four-wheeler. I wanted to make the four-wheeler in the same paint colors and color scheme as the mule from Firefly in the first season, where their mule was the four-wheeler instead of a porta potty, instead of the one that's in the film. But super happy with what I did get from that line. But yeah, that's super glue's taking its sweet time to dry that gel, but I guess it's doing its job. I'm happy with the progress that we made tonight on this bad boy. I think tomorrow when I go live, after the Comic-Con, to show off whatever I picked up, or maybe I don't pick up anything. There's a good chance I might not spend any money, which is fine. It's not always the goal, but I will get to see some friends. I will get to see the layout and just experience a Comic-Con again. See if I've still got a taste for it. You know, I don't know that I will. It's been so long, and also just the idea is, it's a lot. But I will be masking up, because number one, I don't want con crud. Let's be honest, people go to Comic-Cons, they don't fucking wash their hands while they're there. People will go when they're sick because they really want to go. Doesn't matter if it's night, Rick. Have a good one. I'm getting ready to sign off. Be well, man. Thank you for coming and watching. I always appreciate it. People just don't take care of hygiene when they're there. It's the last thing on their mind. I've seen people go in and take a shit in costume and then come out, put the costume back on, and walk out of the bathroom like, wash your paws, nothing. And then they're out there shaking hands with people, taking pictures. Like, come on. So even if it weren't COVID season, no, ma'am. You can't jump in the bag right now. I'm using it for trash. I really need a cat cam. She's decided to stick herself in halfway into this bag. Come on. No, lady. Um, but like, even if it weren't still COVID season, and I say season, it's been COVID nonstop here. People are it's getting worse and worse. The cases are getting higher and higher. And even if it weren't that, I would still probably wear a mask just to keep fucking germs out of my mouth. But I will certainly check it out. Like I said, I will take some footage, probably make a couple of reels, maybe a vlog or a collecting thing. Was that you that just sent me the friend request out of Ditch Roll Outpost? All right. Let me see. I will accept your request. Dirt Roll, I'm sorry. I don't know how to spell. DIRCHROLLOUTPOST. I'm not seeing you on here. I got the notification that you sent me a request. But it's not there. Efforts were made. Oh, it is Ditch Roll. There we go. Still trying to find you, buddy. I'll fight with this. I'll fight with this tomorrow. Like I said, I am going to wrap this thing up. Thank you guys so much for coming in for the late night stream and the long late night stream. And thank you for letting me troubleshoot some of this stuff here with the audio and all that. I'm glad that you guys came. Thanks for letting me show off the shit that I've gotten, answer some questions about toys that I had no idea what this thing was. So I like it. I'm probably going to turn it into maybe accessories for another ship, and also gonna add a droid into this thing instead of that ball, because I mean that thing's begging for an R unit to beep boop his way out of there. Take all these stickers off, get the thing cleaned up. It'll be a whole video series, I'm sure, because that's what I like to do, is make goddamn videos. You guys know this. And I like to break stuff, apparently. So, with that said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Anybody that watches the replay, thank you so much. I know this was a long one, long-winded. We covered a little bit of heavy stuff at the beginning with the loss of Matthew Perry. Fallout fans know he was Benny. The game was rigged from the start. Fans of Friends, he was Chandler. Also, the great assassin movies with Bruce Willis, the Mom movies. But all right, guys, have an excellent night. If you're working on customs and world building, be sure to show me over on Instagram at Famine Studios X. Here on YouTube, it's Famine Studios. Be sure to like the video before you guys take off. Make sure that you share this with your friends if you want. See what you were up to Saturday night. I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are awesome. Take care of each other. Have a great night of sleep. Be good. Too sweet, me friends. You guys are the best. I appreciate you. Cheers.